All right, dude, welcome back. Episode 4. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, but I got to tell you, in full disclosure, I am a little annoyed, and some of that's on me for the expectations I've had of giving all this information to people, and they do nothing with it. I feel like the dude that showed up in a freaking yacht when you're sitting in a life raft after your little podunk boat sunk, and you've been in the doggone thing for a week, and I show up and go, jump on the yacht. Nothing but just help out till we get you to shore. And you're like, I don't know if I want to help.
Did you ever see the movie Pursuit of Happiness?
No.
You never saw Pursuit of Happiness?
No, but I did try watching that Atomic Blonde, and I made it like 10 minutes further this time, and it still sucked.
Okay, no.
But Pursuit of Happiness.
How have you never seen Pursuit of Happiness? That's the one with Will Smith and in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Okay,
I did see that.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
there was the little joke. There at the very end of the movie, there was a little joke, and the kid, Chris Jr. comes in and says, "Hey, Dad, I got a joke for you." And he says, "Okay, tell me your joke." And he says, "Well, there's this kid, or there's this guy, and he's on a life raft out in the middle of nowhere, and a big ship comes by, and he goes, 'Hey, you need any help?' And he says, 'No, God will save me.' And then he just stays there on the raft, right? And then another boat comes up and says, 'Hey, you need any help?' And he goes, 'Nope, God will save me.' And then he dies and goes to heaven. And he looks at God and he goes, 'Hey, why didn't you save me?' And he goes, 'I sent you 2 boats, dummy.' It's exactly the same thing.
Yes.
People, listen up. We have the answers. We've been doing this. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm 34 years old. 20 years. You've been doing it for at least 100.
I'm 61. Yeah, together it's 100 freaking years. I'm 61. I literally started out working for rent reductions for my family in a high-rise apartment complex in the Bay Area when I was in junior high school. So I've learned this business from the ground up.
The answers. Do you want to keep making the mistakes, or do you want to learn from the mistakes of others? I would rather read a book or listen to an audio or something and learn it.
Audio, perfect.
And that's what this is all about.
It's on the website, cashcowsystems.org. Audios, download in your car. If you're an agent, download what's appropriate for the meeting you're going to.
Well, now I'm going to throw you under the bus. Have you taken the audio tracks and put them up on social media for people to stream them yet?
Have you given them to me yet?
They're on the website. How does a person manage the expectations of other people?
With tenants, you start at the very beginning by the way you run the ad.
Okay.
When you meet them, you share what you expect on the application. We go into detail on this on the website and in the book, so I'm going to make it quick for you guys. But you set the expectations at the very beginning and treat it just like you're dealing with children.
When I
you
wrote
expect
mortgages,
them to do this, you got to tell them. This
when
is what
I wrote
I
mortgages, I would give them a checklist, and I'd go over everything with them, and I'd say, look, okay, so I'm going to need your full
bank
tax
statement.
return, bank statements.
Yeah.
I'm going to need
Credit
references.
cards.
I'm
Yeah.
going to need all these different things, right?
Right.
And I'm going to pull your credit, and you're going to have to pay for your appraisal, and you're going to have to pay for the pest inspection, and on and on and on and on and on.
Yes.
And if somebody didn't get that done, well, apparently they didn't want the cash out, or they didn't want to refinance their home, or they didn't want to purchase that home, or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, but they're not getting what they want.
I'll tell you another one. So the client will come to me.
Yeah.
And they'll say, hey, we want you to do this, that, and the other thing for my business. We want you to build our website, handle our social media, get us on the radio, build a show, whatever, right?
Right.
And I'll design everything, and I put it into a payment plan that they can afford. And we move everything forward, and I know that it's working because I see the analytics.
Because it's worked before.
Because it's worked. Well, I see the numbers.
Yeah.
And they still can't pay their bill on time. I met my deadline. I have a busy life too. I have a life, but I'm still sitting there at 11 o'clock at night making sure that I do what I need to do in order for you to get what you need to get. And at the end of the day, it's not my problem if you can't pay your bill. I'm just going to shut everything off.
Yeah. I mean, it's that simple. And I do the same thing when I talk with investors with tenants. You can work with some of them, you can't work with others. But if you go into this at the very beginning with here's the expectation. On this date, you're going to give me this much money. if on this date you cannot give me this much money, the day before or the day before that, you're going to make a phone call and tell me that you can't do it and why you can't do it, and we're going to work out a solution. And I had a couple investors, they had bought some bad properties from some crummy real estate agents that were never going to cash flow the way they were trying to manage them.
Well, they designed it to be
They
designed it. They didn't do their due diligence, right?
No, well, they didn't know, and they relied on somebody who screwed them over.
I call bull on that because I didn't know how to build my first company. Yes, I failed it, but I was successful in where it went and what I did with it next.
Yeah.
And then I built my second company, and I failed it, but I was still successful in what I knew and how I grew. And now look at where we are.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I didn't know either.
I agree, but you had failures along the way. So these guys are having their failures along the way.
Ooh, throwing me under the bus now.
Hey, turnabout's fair play. And they learned, and they didn't quit. They didn't throw up their hands, dump the property, and take a huge cash loss. So what I told one guy is, look, your tenant can't pay you every month because he just sucks at cash management. You bought a property in the ghetto, you were lied to about what's going on. Okay. Let your tenant pay you every 2 weeks.
Now, when they pay you every 2 weeks, my understanding is that you can actually get more money out of the rent in that.
Well, you can get paid 12 times a year, or you can get paid 26 times a year.
Yeah, but if you're making it affordable for them, let's say you're charging.
Say you're charging $1,000 a month.
Okay.
Every 2 weeks you get $500.
What if you did it for $600?
Well, I say throw in a $15 fee for the additional bookkeeping. That way you don't have to get rid of a tenant. You don't have to have a vacancy. Tenant thinks you're great. You actually get another month's worth of rent at the end of the year.
That's interesting. Never thought of it that way.
And you're saving on the cost of having a vacancy in a troubled area. You got a tenant that actually thinks you're helping them out because you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting.
Problem solved. This is back to exactly how we opened the show.
And
Here's
this is
the expectations.
But it's not even that, though. This is back to why people need to go to cashcowsystems.org and listen to the audio. Yeah. Listen to it. There's a reason why we're doing this show. There's a reason why I sit there in the studio and record this stuff. There's a reason why you sit there at home and write this stuff.
Yep.
There's a reason why we pay the publisher. There's a reason why we have the brand. And there's also a reason why we're sitting in this chair talking to you right now in radio stations coast to coast, social media, web, the whole bit, because we know what we're talking about. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's it. And
we're here to help you.
I can sit at home and go fishing, take a vacation, go do nothing. I got family businesses and things to run that I could be spending my time having more fun. But I feel like it's an obligation I have to the people that mentored me to continue that and give back to everybody else. Plus, I sit around and look at the economy. And folks, I have worked for the company that is, hey, we just sold the property. Here's your final paycheck. You got like 24 hours to pack your stuff and get out of your apartment. Oh, and here's your tax liability because you owe taxes on the free rent for the place that we forced you to live. It's like, well, you mean the place where I got shot and they burnt my car down? Yeah, that's it.
Where do you come up with this nonsense?
Nonsense? Hell, I can show you the scars. And I got friends that'll go, yeah, he had a cool Pontiac, but
all right,
evicted the gang members and the car went poof. It's like, what the hell?
All right, we're going to go to a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about setting expectations. We'll be right back.